the absence of having many figures around, because I'm moving premises, I've been forced to dive deep into this dark, chaotic mess that I call a brain. And I've been thinking right hard about, why do I wargame? Why? I'm Galen, and Galen's got Parkinson's. I've always been the sort of person that imagines and plays. I've always played. I play now. I don't wargame. I play with soldiers. Right? I'm proud of it. I'm pleased with it. I don't pretend. I'm not one of those people that hides. Oh, I do historical reenactments. No, I don't. When I'm here playing with my soldiers, they're going. Why? When I was 8, which is 62 years ago, we were learning in Doncaster about a Dutchman who drained all of the sort of swampy, wet bits of Holland in the 17th century. And he came to Doncaster and he drained all the marshy, swampy bits around Doncaster because it's below sea level. It's very wet. And he was called Cornelius Vermuyden. Now, I learned that when I was 8. Why do I still know it? And I suspect I still know it because in the hot summer holidays, at the end of that year, at the top of our road was a farmer's lane, like one of those unadopted roads. And it was all ruts and puddles and gunge. And we spent most of the summer with lolly sticks, joining all the puddles together and draining them, all the little puddles, into one big puddle, which we then directed onto the street where there was a drain. And we pretended we were Cornelius Vermuyden and his team. And it was the happiest 4 weeks of a summer I can remember spending. It was great. I mean, there was always those summers where you always have to find a great stick. First job in the summer holidays is get a dead good stick. Because it can be a gun, it can be a machete, it can be a jungle explorer, it's a sword, it's a staff, it's whatever you want it to be. Get a good stick. You know, that's my advice in life. Always have a good stick. Now, things have influenced my gaming. And I've been trying, well, what are they? And they sort of boil down to a number of sort of areas. So there are things like Cornelius Vermuyden, things I learnt about at school. I did the English Civil War at school. When I was doing my A-levels, we did Renaissance and Reformation, Tudors and Stuarts, that sort of stuff. And that's always interested me. I've always been interested in history. And I've got my own family history. My dad was a regular soldier during the Second World War. My great granddad was a regular soldier and he joined the army in 1902 as a boy. And he went to India and he served right through to 1919 in the garrison artillery and ended up in France. So we've always had a military history collection clocking around the house. People talking about, you know, things Grandad did in India or things Dad did in Germany. And we've got photographs of family members in uniform in different places. So that was always around. So that's inspirational, isn't it? Especially, you know, when your dad's prepared to play soldiers with you and join in, which he was. He loved it. He had his own troops and stuff. And as we developed in the hobby, he played Dungeons and Dragons and he had his own forces when we did World War II or fantasy. So that was always a help. And I had 2 brothers, both of whom were gamers, different sorts of gamers. My little brother is a gamer very much like me. At the moment he's doing Pillage at a club. My middle brother was far more sort of esoteric and more into sort of William Morris Victorian fantasy. And I suppose in the modern term books, things like The Creatures in the Weird Stone of Brisingamen, and same with the music he listened to. It tended to be medieval, what I call high fantasy things, and he liked Narnia more than Lord of the Rings. So we had different impacts, different interests, but we had people to play with within the family. I didn't have to go out looking for folk. We had to go war games clubs in Doncaster. There was a cracking war games club. When I first went, I was the youngest there by miles, and it was the YMCA in Doncaster. And then it moved to a youth club, and until recently, it was still there. Now, going to the war games club was an influence, because when you get to the war games club, you meet people doing different games, and you think, oh, I like that. What are they doing? And people let you have a turn, which I think is important. I've been to clubs over a long time, where people are not welcome, really. It feels like if you don't go with a friend and a game, there's nothing for you. Back in the day, you went in a club and everybody just went, "Whoa, come on, get joined in. We'll show you what we're doing." And as a youngster, older men taught me how to paint. They taught me how to do sergeant stripes. They told me about the figures I was buying. They told me how to base them. They read the rules and did all the complicated mathematics in war games research groups, so we could just enjoy the game. We used to have a huge game once a month, once every 2 months, where everybody took everything they owned, every Napoleonic soldier they had, and we used to have a massive game. And we youngsters would be maybe lieutenants in charge of small groups doing specific jobs, and the older men would be majors, generals, commanding enormous forces, doing more important things. But we had a job to do, and we were integral to the game. I don't know, one of my favourite games, I was Prussian artillery commander, and I just had 4 guns, and limbers, and me, and crew. That was it. And I was told what to do, and I did it. And I learned all about the artillery and what to do, and people told me and said, "Oh, do this and do that," and that's what artillery would have done. So that was an influence. And then there was obviously TV. I'm going to say TV before films, because TV was everywhere. So you'd watch everything from, I don't know, Rawhide, which you'd then go and play with your cowboys, Bonanza, and then Stagecoach, that was a biggie. You could get a little Stagecoach set from Airfix. Wagons roll, wagon train, that's the thing, that's what I'm thinking of. You could get Tarzan set. You could get all these things. There was the moon landing, so you get all the astronauts. And so all of this TV stuff fitted in. Some really good, obscure things. Have you heard of the Flashing Blade? Used to be on Saturday morning. In the summer holidays, Saturday mornings, you used to get all these weird things from Germany and places. And it used to be white horses for the girls. On white horses. Robinson Crusoe. Da, 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 da. And then, the best of all, if you've not seen it, watch it. The Flashing Blade. Oh, it's good. You've got to fight for what you want, for all that you believe. It's right to fight for what you want, to live the life you please. That's all these guys running back. They're always riding dead fast. And there's these fellas in Spain getting blown up. It's like a siege. And then they would run to Rome and they'd come back. And oh, it was great. Like Protestant Catholic wars. Oh, it's awesome. You can find it on YouTube. Flashing Blade, Robinson Crusoe, White Horses. Even if you only just listen to the theme music. And then, of course, the Lone Ranger. And then you went out to play with your mates with your good stick that you'd found. So television, really important. And it became important later on with things like Hornblower, Sharp, Game of Thrones, right up to modern times. So that influences me. I watch things and I go, oh, I like that. I'm going to do that. But I don't go and say, who sells that game? I just think, oh, I like that idea. Yeah, that fits nicely into my world. Robin of Sherwood. I like Robin of Sherwood. One of the people who wrote Robin of Sherwood I used to work with when he wasn't in Robin and Sherwood. He worked with me at a place called Marston Taylor's, and he went on to be in Robin and Sherwood. So I love Marston. I love Robin and Sherwood, and I still watch it. And in my world of Dural, there's a place called Leaford. This is a night of Leaford. Now, in Robin and Sherwood, Leaford is where Marion's dad lives. And there's not a coincidence there. I've got a place where there's a guy called Owen of Clun. He's in Robin and Sherwood. I stuck him in my world of Dural map because I loved him. So that's an influence. That's a big influence. Books. I was at the Wargames Club, and these guys were playing with elves and goblins and stuff. And I went, The Hobbit, and they went, oh, no, Lord of the Rings. So I read Lord of the Rings. Oh, I can't tell you what an influence that was. That's huge. But that led me then into reading all sorts of fantasy. The Pride Egg Chronicles, Taran Wanderer, and all that stuff. And Lloyd Alexander, that was the guy's name. Weird Son of Brisingamen, which I like, but I don't like the Moon of Gomrath because it's the same kids, it's the same characters, but they don't mention the dwarf that got killed in the first one. I suspect you would if he'd gave his life to save yours, and you don't even give like how are you, sort of a thing. Where's he buried? But I liked all that. Red Moon and Black Mountain, Joy Chant. Thomas Covenant, the Ill Earth Wars. I didn't wargame them, but they all feed into the old noggin. Sci-fi, I like Star Trek. I like that sort of grand universe. I'm not saying I dislike Star Wars. I just like Star Trek. Especially the more modern things they're doing, I really like. Wasn't hugely keen on it in the 60s, but I'm very keen now. That's made a difference. And it's always happening. You watch things and you think, I like that. That's the good. I like that. I'm going to include that. I'm going to wargame that. John Wayne films. I love John Wayne films. And I know they're not realistic, and I know he's not a great actor. I don't care. I love him. But then you've got films, like Taboo with Tom Hardy, and you've got all that sort of Northwest Canada business going on. That's something else that's exciting. You've got all the piratey films that are around, and that gets you excited about pirate games. Vikings, books like Mabinogi and The Legend of King Arthur. It goes on and on and on and on. And all these things excite you. And when you get excited, you wargame. Don't you? Well, I do. So, I'm not right sure why I'm telling you all this, except that I've no figures. I've nothing to play with. I am sans figures. I'm bereft. And I think I'm going a bit mad. I think I've got withdrawal symptoms. I need to unpack figures. I need to start playing soldiers again. I'll be all right. Don't worry about me. You don't need to open some sort of charitable fund to rescue me. So, there you are. That's it. I'm done with that. Make of it as you will. So, try